What's up, everybody? I am Steve, and with me, as always, is D. And you're watching Conversations with Cabys, the only show on the internet that you know is taking it easy. Not really. Not true at all. Not true. No. We've been working our asses off.
That's fake
Oh,
news.
almost didn't fucking record this one. Um,
Yeah. Barely got it in, everybody. Barely got it in, but
but hey,
we're
we're
here
here.
for you nonetheless.
But with that lovely intro, it is the Eagles today. We're gonna do
Dun, dun,
um,
dun.
a full jam on the Eagles. Fist away, D.
Fist away.
Fist away,
Fist
D.
away.
Fist away. So fuck yeah. All right, we're gonna do this one. I guess. Okay. So how we should do it? Because there's two ways to do this, right? We can do pre Joe Walsh and post Joe Walsh. Okay, you can do that, but also you can just do it by album, and kind of singles by album is fine with me.
Yeah, I think it
Um,
was the option two.
because I kind of want to do. I want to talk about these albums, right? A little bit, and I want to also kind of talk about the differences, I
And
guess.
the chronology of the band a little bit.
Right. So the Eagles are an American rock band formed in Los Angeles in 1971. They were active from 71 to 80, then came reunited in 94, and were active until 2016 when, unfortunately, one of the members died of cancer, one Mr. Glenn Fry. Um, the band active members right now are Don Henley, Joe Walsh, and Timothy B. Schmidt. The fat bass, Timothy B. Schmidt. Joe Walsh is a vocalist and also a sick lead guitar player. Um,
Indeed.
Don Henley plays the drums or rhythm guitar
And sings.
and sings. Glenn Fry also played rhythm guitar and sang. Um, and then various other band members throughout.
Timothy B. Schmidt is the bass and
Randy Mesner
vocals.
used to be the bassist for the band, but around the same time Joe Walsh came around, Timothy B. Schmidt came into the picture as well. Um, and one Mr. Don Feldler as well, also playing lead and rhythm, kind of a third. They had an interesting dual rhythm, sometime dual lead, um, with depending upon the song. Quite interesting. Also, Don Felder played slide guitar too, so that was in some of these tracks, and we will also talk about that. In the early albums, there was a bit of slide guitar, a fair bit, of slide guitar. Um, let's see what else. As far as the intro, rock, country rock, soft rock, folk rock. I would say this band, if I'm gonna just spoiler alert for you, the first four albums to me were country rock for sure. Like country and western influenced like a mofo, like quite a bit. Um, it wasn't until the introduction of Joe Walsh and later that they got kind of more in the true rock, classic rock genre
Yeah,
of
I would
things.
say country, western meets folk
Yeah, really
rock.
good. Yeah, not even folk rock.
Or
Just
not, yeah, just folk.
throw away rock. Just country and western with
Yeah.
really bluegrassy roots, slide guitars, and then you throw in folk in there with really good rhythm sections and some decent lead work at times. And the content is really that combo, honestly, of folk and country and western. It really there are definite you can feel the country and western vibes to it. It's more of a but it's more of a like a southwestern kind of a situation. Almost like Arizona or New
Arizona,
Mexico,
Nevada.
like even like uh you know down in um like the deserts of California and shit, oh my god, Joshua Tree, that area. You know what I mean? That it feels like that area, right? That southwestern vibe. And that's where they got a lot of what I feel like the inspiration for these first four albums. Um, The first one is self-titled. Eagles came out in 1972. This has just got some classics on it. I mean, they came out swinging for fuck's sake. Honestly, like Glenn Frey. Yeah, Glenn Frey wrote "Take It Easy." Don Henley wrote "Witchy Woman." Of course, Don Henley wrote "Witchy Woman." That's totally
Yeah,
done.
that was all him.
That was totally
that's a
Don
Henley
Henley's.
track.
Yeah, that's totally a Henley track. "Witchy Woman," fantastic song. Every person in the world has. If you haven't heard it, I don't know what's wrong with you, but it's great. It's a fantastic song, and if you have heard it, you've probably sung along to it because it's great. It's a great track. And "Take It Easy" is good. I mean, obviously the joke for the opener of this particular episode. But "Take It Easy" is very that country west. It's like a road song. "Take It Easy" is like a country and western road song.
It's the first single, the very first single.
But it feels like, doesn't it feel like you get that country and western vibe straight off the jump of it, and it feels like one of those like the roads, like a road song, like one
that intro get like what is that? It's I guess just a real clean electric guitar.
It could be a steel guitar, like a steel-headed guitar, like a resonating guitar. Yeah, a resonator guitar.
That, like a steel
I'm
guitar,
pretty sure not a steel guitar, but a resonating guitar. Steel guitars sound steel guitars sound too much like that. A resonator guitar gives you the kind of the steel twang, but actually is a true regular acoustic solid body guitar. And I really think that's probably what it was. And I'm betting that was that's what they get essentially in the next album. Like that's what the Don Felder comes in the next album with. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of a vibe. Like you almost feel like you feel the hints in these first couple songs of where they're gonna go, and you're like, oh, okay. Like for instance, "Desperado." Any other real big hitters? I mean, honestly, it's "Take It Easy," "Witchy Woman," and "Peaceful Easy Feeling." Whatever. I mean, that's an okay track, but it's not their best work.
That's not their best work, but I mean, damn, man, that was, I think, one of your dad's all-time favorite songs. That was, there was a lot of goodness behind that song.
You know who? It's interesting to me though that Jack Temchin wrote that.
Yeah. I don't know who.
Totally, completely different writer. I'm gonna check who he is. He's an American musician and singer-songwriter, best known for "Peaceful Easy Feeling," and he co-wrote "Already Gone,"
"Girl from Yesterday," "Somebody"
by the Eagles, "Already Gone," and "Girl from Yesterday." Holy shit, "Girl from Yesterday" was actually a pretty decent track.
Yeah.
Wow. So he's just like the Eagles' pocket songwriter, I guess. Fair enough.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that was Dad's favorite track. And maybe that's why I don't listen to that track much anymore. Like, I don't.
But it's good.
I mean, it is a great track. But you get song. Again, I mean, honestly, "Peaceful Easy Feeling" is kind of a road song, too.
It is.
It's
great.
And that's what you get. It's crazy. And this first album, 3 songs on the top 40. "Take It Easy" went to number 12, "Witchy Woman" went to number 9, and "Peaceful Easy Feeling" went to 22. That's their opening fucking act. I mean,
and also, sorry,
no, please.
I was like, also with "Take It Easy" and "Peaceful Easy Feeling," you get right out the gate. What do you get? Harmony. Back in the 70s, harmony.
What are we talking about all the time? Harmony. And we can flop that back into the folk aspect of that, where that's the folk influence of them. This is. And I dare say country and western didn't have as much harmonies as what they have in the rock genre, and that is because of the folk influence that they're bringing into this country and western genre, this kind of bluegrassy genre that they're fucking creating and making essentially like there's a lot of classic rock that is this, you know what I mean? This kind of this southwesterny feel, this country feel rock that. And I'm not talking about the not the southern rock, the other side of the coin, because technically that's southern eastern rock. That's your Louisianas, your Alabamas, your Floridian rocks that are different than this, just different than this. They're more chuggy, whereas this is more melody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
It's more like way more bluegrass driven and way more
then
Southern
blues driven, then blues driven, then that southern rock on that side is derivative from. It's like trying to take the African American blues joints of the 1950s, 40s, and 50s, and trying to countryfy it. You know what I mean?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You know what I'm saying?
Every time I think of it, this is what I think about. I think about somebody stomping on a front porch and then hitting a washboard.
For sure. But where did they get the rhythm from? The slaves that they owned.
I guess.
In the 1800s, that's where the Coots got the fucking rhythm that they got, was from the slaves that they freaking owned. Because the slaves were the people that actually had rhythm. These country fucks couldn't do anything.
Right. Ain't got no rhythm.
Right.
These boys seem to have.
Right. Shit. Anyway. But that's where that's the separation, really, to me. So if you're talking about southwestern rock and that rock that came out of California and kind of the Arizonas and that time period,
desert region,
desert rock, yeah, it's different. It has that more bluegrass tone to it, whereas this has the more where southeastern rock or your traditional southern rock has that bluesy undertone that they're just trying to hickify. Okay, Annie, enough on that one. I went down a rabbit hole.
Eagles, that is the first album.
Great album. Next album, Desperado. Having one of this is Mom's favorite song.
There you go.
And Dad's probably favorite song, or one of Dad's favorite songs as well. But I mean, this is even the artwork for it is of, like, this should have been the soundtrack to Young Guns. If it was written 10 years or sooner. You know what I'm saying?
I could probably say I can see that. This is
a very like a Western film driven album. It almost plays out like a play, like a Western play. And the songs are very much of that kind of vein. Older country and Western, but again, they're adding in the folk aspects to it. They're adding in the folk, the harmonies. Sure. Yeah. Interestingly enough, this was recorded in London.
That is interesting.
In 73. Which is, pretty good turnaround, honestly. June 1st, 72, you released your first album, and in April 17th of 73, you got it with your next one. So less than a year between albums. That's pretty damn good.
In the 70s, and you're doing it internationally.
Right. That's pretty impressive, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Good on you.
Good on you, yeah. I mean, not spoiler alert again. No wonder why they fucking broke up. They
Massive
were done.
Success quick.
They were beat. I mean, they didn't stop. From when they started, they never stopped. It looked, you know what I'm saying? That's insanity. But so big hitters singles. On this one. Big hitters on this one. First single off this one was Tequila Sunrise. Do you realize this only 2 minutes and 52 seconds, that song?
It is. It's a short one.
That is crazy. It just feels like it's a great track, but it feels like it should have been longer than that. Wow. I mean, hell, Desperado is only 3:36.
Yeah, this is a really good Glenn Frey vocal track in my opinion. This is probably one of my faves.
I would give Tequila Sunrise. That's like, it's almost the peak of his range, which really makes him work for it. So it drives the emotion of this track a lot more, and it is good. It is really extremely well written, and again, harmonies, your folk influence, but also bluegrass and country. It's just different and great at the same time.
It's kind of like a heartbreak ballad, but not like in that real cheesy, corny way. Like, it tells a really good story, and it's a good track. I like that one. It's softer, but
still great. I mean, the riff on it's good. It's a very country and Western riff on that one. It feels like it drives that country and Western vibe to it. Peaked at number 64 on the Billboard Hot 100, so that's pretty good. They're saying the next one was Outlaw Man as the singles. That's insanity to me that Desperado, the title track, was not they're not considering it released as a single. That's weird.
It was? I thought it is.
Although the song was never released as a single, it is one of the group's best-known songs and ranked number 494
494
of all-time best songs, rock songs. That's good. Don Henley is lead vocals. Henley and Fry wrote it. This song is fucking amazing.
This song was a Henley masterpiece.
The riff is great. Everything great. It's a masterclass in writing a really good rock track, like a really good ballad, I guess. Yeah. For that time
this
period,
is the ballad for sure.
but it's a rock ballad. It is truly a rock ballad. The riff is money. The percussion is money. It all tells a narrative that is. It's just a master's class in that. Really.
Starts out with that piano and just Don. At the beginning, it's real soft and subtle and vulnerable, and
does a really nice job crescendoing, and it's a great track. Great track. Okay, so next album. So this is a very short album too, only 35 minutes. And it's a two-sider, but instrumental stuff and filler stuff.
A bunch of instrumental and reprise stuff. So yeah, not a whole lot of.
It's almost like an EP, but I guess they considered it a full length. The next one is On the Border, released in 74, March 22nd of 74. Again, recorded in London and at LA, across both. Man, less than another year. I mean, they're fucking just churning it out. That's insanity.
Yeah.
So James Dean. So let's go with the first ones. Already Gone was the first track released. As a single.
Another Glenn Fry vocal track.
Another Jack Temchin written track, interestingly enough. Again, Already Gone. I think we already talked about it, honestly, when we were look up him. It's a good song. It's not one of my favorites.
Not one of my
favorites. I can't even place the hook right now, honestly. I can't even place the hook of it right now. I know it, though.
Because I'm already gone. And I'm
already gone. Right, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And strong.
Again, a road track, but it's just not as great as others. James Dean, as far as I'm concerned, is the better track on here. And the third single, Best of My Love, is a. What would you consider that? It's almost like a Temptations track.
James Dean?
No, Best of My Love.
Oh, Best of My Love? Oh, yeah.
It's almost like a What would you consider that? Like, because the harmonies and everything, it's almost like, but they're musicians too. So they're doing the boy band thing with while we play guitar and shit. You know what I mean? It's what do you call that? It's
like a croon. It's a crooner song almost, like with
right. Yeah.
Barbershop quartet almost.
Right. Yes. Barbershop quartet with instruments.
Yes.
And very much. Yeah, that's what Best of My Love feels like to me. And it's a fantastic track. The vocal on it is great. The harmonies are great. But
without the barbershop stick, without the shtick, like
most definitely. There's no shtick to the song. It's very good. I mean, it's well written and from the heart. I mean, it is a heartfelt song. Very good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And that's kind of it on here. On this one.
Well, you got Old 55 as a mention on here too, minor hit, but I can't even place that.
I can't even place that. And Tom Watts wrote it, so it's good, but it's also going to be weird. You know what I mean? Tom Watts was kind of a weird. He's kind of like oh my God, Elvis Costello in that sense. I
mean,
just a kind of an odd.
You want to move on from there?
Yeah, I'm good with that. So the next one is One of These Nights, 1975. Again, the next year. They don't take a fucking break. And that's why these people got burnt out. That's why Mesner couldn't hang anymore. After this tour, Mesner drops. Because he's like, I'm fucking done. You guys want to give me a break. Like, I can't fucking do it anymore. I'm exhausted. He literally quit the band because he was exhausted. Because they fucking released 4 albums in 3 years.
And probably toured every single one of them.
Right. I mean, these guys are not... These are touring musicians when it comes down to it. And it's fucking insanity. So, I get it.
Road musicians to the T. Like, record all over the world. fucking tour all over the place.
Oh, that's right. And Bernie Lyndon, the other there. So Bernie Lyndon was their lead guitar player, who then after this tour was replaced with Joe Walsh. But this is why you didn't have a ton of lead in the band until this point. It was very much until after this point.
Oh, Joe Walsh revolutionized the Eagles and made them.
We're not there yet. We're not
who they
there. We
were.
can't. So hold on.
Yeah.
You're
No,
teasing.
we're not
Spoiler
there
in
yet.
it. Spoiler in it. Spoiler.
But there's a reason. Okay,
there is a
There's
reason.
a reason.
There's a reason. This is a great another great one. One of these nights.
Exploded. I'm sorry.
You're almost dead. You almost did. But it's okay. We're good. We're good. Okay, we got it. We got it back. The cat's back in the bag. One of these nights. Great track. Don Henley wrote. Glenn and Don wrote that. Don Henley lead vocal. Lion Eyes and Take It to the Limit. Again, two great ones. Glenn Frey, Lion Eyes. Done. Who hurt you, Glenn? Who hurt you, buddy?
Somebody hurt him bad.
Because this is just straight up. I mean, what did this go to? Number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Everybody was like, "Who hurt you, Glenn? You talk to me, boo. I know your pain."
Everybody felt the pain in Lion Eyes, man.
For sure.
I am telling you right now.
And then after you got over the chick, you took it to the limit. Is what happened. And
last time.
We snorted
one more time.
Snorted coke, got real fucked up with alcohol and drugs, and partied all the time. And that's why it took Bernie leaving and fucking the bassist leaving, Mesner to leave right after this one, right after this tour, and that's where we come in. Again, though, the very next fucking year, in 76, they release Hotel California with one Mr. Joe Walsh.
Smash hit.
Smash hits. And it's the last time that the album featured Randy Mesner. So he did some recording while they were, on tour and shit. But he did not tour this album for sure. I know that for certain. He's featured on here as other things. But I mean, it's interesting that the album is called Hotel California, okay? Smash hit Hotel California. Joe Walsh introducing the band. It's interesting that the first single, excuse me, the first single off of here is New Kid in Town.
Right.
Why the fuck would you do that? That's dumb. Did you not want to lead with your best stuff? Is that what you're trying to do?
I mean, I guess by this time, if you're the Eagles and you have, 4 smash hit albums out, 4 smash hit albums out already, why you can, I guess, but.
Right. New Kid in Town, great track. Glenn Frey, vocal. Another high range Glenn Frey, but I don't think in a good way on this particular track. I think this track would have honestly benefited with a key change. Because
I would agree.
I think he stresses his vocals too much in this one, and it's not in a good way. It doesn't feel good, pleasing to the ear almost. I think a key change would have been really beneficial here. But who the fuck am I to tell the Eagles what the fuck to do? But I also do this all the time because I'm a backseat producer to everybody's album.
Right.
But obviously, Hotel California, the title track. If you haven't heard Hotel California, you're a liar because you did. You heard it. I know
right.
You did.
You've heard it somewhere, somebody's house, somebody's car, somebody's music somewhere. You've heard it.
This was Felder, Henley, and Frey on this particular track, which is cool. But that shows you how Felder was trying to get in more into the writing and that type of thing. A great track, though.
Shows. This is a creative masterpiece with the 12 string.
With the 12 string. Oh, my God. Yeah, Walsh on the 12 string. Oh, my God.
No, this hits Henley on
Henley on the 12 string. Yeah, he drops off the drum. That was also what was crazy about it, too. Yeah. And then Life in the Fast Lane. Joe Walsh wrote, which you can totally feel the Joe Walsh riff in Life in the Fast Lane. That is a Joe Walsh riff from way back when he was in James Gang. I mean, this is a James Gang fucking riff from, like, you can, it's like, oh, is this James Gang I'm listening to? Oh, no, this is the Eagles. Okay, fair enough.
So this is what I feel like. Here's my analogy for what Joe Walsh did for the Eagles. If you guys have ever watched Sister Act, when Whoopi Goldberg's character comes to the convent and sees this out of fucking shape, floppy, horrible, classic old nunnery choir, and she comes in and overdrives the shit out of it and puts her fucking LA Las Vegas Strip fucking showboat performance into it. This is exactly what Joe Walsh did with the level of talent and new just kicking the ass that the Eagles fucking needed to really start getting into the rock era.
So here's okay. So a perfect analogy. You remember when the meek girl who was the understudy, who wasn't quite a nun yet, right?
Okay, yeah.
And she was teaching her how to sing, and then she pushed on her diaphragm, and she sang louder. That's what Joe Walsh did. Joe Walsh pushed on the diaphragm of the Eagles, and turned the volume to 11. All these are James Gang. I mean, it's Joe Walsh's riffs, and Walsh is very much like your Jimi Hendrix, your Jimmy Pages, your Tom Morellos, your Zach Wilde's for good or bad. Eric Clapton's. It's a distinct fucking way he plays. It's almost like he's singing with the guitar. It's very distinct, and you can tell a Joe Walsh riff from fucking anywhere. And Live in the Fast Lane, Joe Walsh wrote that song, and Don Henley and Glenn Frey wrote the lyrics to it. That's how that one went down. Joe Walsh came in and was like, this is what I got. I fucking wrote this last night, dude. Just fucking fat ass fucking riff. And they just put the lyrics to it. And I'm gonna say the only rub that I have with this, right? One of the best albums on the planet. It reached number let's see. So it was New Kid in Town and Hotel California were number ones, and Life in the Fast Lane reached number 11. It's ranked fucking Hotel California is ranked number 37 on the 500 greatest albums of all time by Rolling Stone, which is well fucking deserved.
Well deserved and well earned. I would agree with that 100%. And before we go on to anything else, I want to say there's a song that didn't get single mention, but
you're gonna do it. You're gonna say it now. Joe Vitale writing this song is interesting as well. To be perfectly honest with you, it's so interesting that he wrote this track. I mean, because obviously I know what song he's talking about because we both.
Co-wrote it.
Right. I mean, Walsh, but this is what makes this one very interesting, right? Because so the song is Pretty Maids All in a Row, and Dee and I love this track, and it's also a masterclass in writing a soft-spoken. It's technically a ballad, I guess, but it's not. It's sort of like for lack of a better term for it, it's a ballad, but it's not though. But it kind of is. It's a Joe Walsh ballad though. He did this shit in other bands too, and it's the way. It's the way he presents tracks, and the way you would think a dude with that singing voice shouldn't be able to do it as well as he does, I guess. You know what I mean? But it's the way he writes a track and the way he frames the work. He works his interesting vocal pattern into the song that he writes.
Yeah, and it works well with his guitar style
because he sounds like the guitar. That's the other thing, dude. Like it's so fucking weird to listen to a Joe Walsh riff and then hear Joe Walsh sing, because it's like, Jesus Christ, did you figure out a way to fucking make your guitar talk too? Because that's kind of what you sound like. Like you're just extending that note out and it's the same. Like you started singing with your guitar. Your guitar taught you how to sing. It's what's weird. It's fucking weird. The timbre is so fucking interesting. And it works. It wouldn't work in every song. There's no way in hell it would work in every song. But Joe Walsh knows how to make Joe Walsh's voice work in a song. And that's in and of itself a fucking talent. It's hard enough for a musician, a vocalist musician to find their voice anyway within a track. Like, to be able to write your voice into a track is fucking miraculous, in my opinion.
Yeah. This song it deserves a lot of credit, and it is a Walsh masterpiece, and it's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, he did a bunch with the Eagles. He did some shit with Ted Nugent and Crosby, Stills, and Nash. That's where I know. Let's see.
Vitale?
Mm-hmm. That's where I've heard of him from. He did Zach Wilde's Book of Shadows, too. That's crazy. Come on. Where's Crosby? Which one did he help with? Crosby, Stills, and Nash. That's what I want to know. That's going to annoy me. Oh, well.
Oh, and he's also part of the Eagles in the touring band. So he toured with him.
Ah. Yeah, I mean, he probably could be secondary percussion anyway. So we have Hotel California, okay? And then what is it? Right after that? Ah.
Oh, and he also played in a band with Joe Walsh prior to the Eagles.
They actually took a break because everybody wanted to fucking quit, I would imagine. And this is kind of where the tensions between the bands started to grow, I guess you should say. Oh, no, stop. Oh, no. That's what happens when you hit buttons, folks. The long run, this is kind of, they took a break in between here, and this is kind of where the tensions really started to flare up. Touring extensively. You toured a ton off of Hotel California. You had great singles off of it. That probably was a 3-year tour, I would imagine.
Oh, it had to have been massive.
Yeah, I mean, you went everywhere with that. Long Run was the first album with Timothy B. Schmidt to write and tour on. And this was also the one that really got kind of finished the band off, if you will. This is where the tensions really just couldn't be quelled. But a fucking album that has just a shit ton of really great tracks. First single, Heartache Tonight. I mean, what can you say about that track? That track is fucking Bob goddamn Seger wrote it. And again, you fucking feel, no, of course Bob Seger wrote that track because it feels like a Bob Seger track.
Yeah.
It feels like
it's just a drive.
It's a driver. It's a chug.
Floor and a floor.
Mm-hmm. It's a chugger. It's a chugger road song, and Seeger writes the best chugger road songs. Turn the Page is a slow tempo chugger road song. It's just slower tempo, you know.
Right. But it chugs and just gets heavy.
Yeah, I mean, if you sped Turn the Page up to a decent rock tempo, that motherfucker would be chugging all day long. He just writes chugging songs. That's what fucking Seger is best known for. That's why the Silver Bullet Band was perfect for Bob Seger. Not that we're going to talk about Bob Seger too much, but the Silver Bullet Band was perfect for him because that's what they wrote, was just like chug songs, road songs, shit that you just get in the car and drive to. You know what I mean? And Heartache Tonight is a prime example of that. Reached number 1 in 79. The next one is The Long Run, the title track, and that's Henley vocal. Just it's really good. Like this feels like he's after Hotel California, he just got really confident in his vocal. You know what I mean? I feel like he really got confident in his vocal, and this song, albeit not like the craziest range or anything, it's a really good Don Henley song. Yeah,
I agree. It is a solid track, and yeah, he was definitely way comfortable with his voice by this point. He kind of plays with some pretty strong,
definitely
some, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Just some more emotional kind of oohs and ahs and some nice vocal fills.
There's
and things
some,
like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some minor fills in there that are difficult to navigate around, especially in their like B and G rock key zone that you're in. You know what I mean? And it was just a vulnerable. So you felt that those minors gave you that vulnerability, and you don't. It's just tough to sing minors. It is like because it's a weird note sometimes, especially in that range. So I dug that song. Really good. Now I can't tell you why is supposed to be the
Timothy B.
third one.
Schmidt, boy.
Is supposed to be the third one, and I like this track, and it's a Timothy B. Schmidt song, so I dig that. I really dig that.
And this is a lot of his influence on this song. You can feel it because it's something totally different than they've done in a while. Like this almost harkens back to like a little bit of Desperado.
It does. It does. Yes, yes, yes. It gives you back to that older, getting back to that country roots. Because okay, so let's take a step back and talk about Joe Walsh for a second and what he added. Yes, he added that kick in the pants and that, but he also added what we were discussing earlier, that southern or southeastern rock influence. He added that. James Yang is a fucking southern rock band. Like they are deep in the South. So it's deep rooted blues. So everything he's doing is like 12-bar blues and really deep technical scales and modes and crazy, well, not crazy shit, but really technical stuff that you didn't have before, which turned the direction of the band away from that country and western vibe, like we were talking about the separation from where you had that southwestern vibe from the California influence. Joe Walsh brought in that southern blues vibe, which killed the bluegrass. You got rid of that kind of bluegrassy element. That country and western element's gone now, and it's replaced with fat fucking blues rock riffs, which is welcome within moderation, but don't lose sight of where you came from. And Timothy B. Schmidt came back to that and was like, "No, I like what you did here. Why don't we write a song like that?" And he did.
Yeah. Let's slow it back down for a minute. Let's bring it soft. Let's talk to the people in a soft tone, and let me sing my song.
Harmonies though are always there because I feel like they're a folk band first. The Eagles never strayed away from the folk influence, never, and that's good for their benefit. They never did. But to me, the better track on here is In the City. I can't tell you why. It's a good song, but In the City is just a really great it's a Joe Walsh track, and it's just it's just such a good. I mean, the riff is great, and then Joe's vocals on this are so good, so good. And it's another one of those. And it's another one. I mean, honestly, this would be my first track on this album. To be honest with you, I love Hard Like Tonight, but man, In the City is a great song.
In the City is wonderful. And Barry DeVorzan.
Who is this?
He was one of the co-writers on this song with Walsh. He did
Just Married, written by Allen and recorded by Martin Robbins. So he's kind of an older guy.
Yeah. Country. Number 1 on the country charts.
Yeah. And after after this album is where they ended. And during the tours of this, it was stated that there was quite a few conflicts between Glenn Frey and Don Felder, and cocaine, touring too much, alcohol, all
success, fame,
all those tropes,
exhaustion.
They're just going to get to you. And the band quit.
Stress.
They broke up, in my opinion, just when they were coming into their own.
With all their new people and getting really comfortable with each other, yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, all those things aside, if they weren't in the way, they probably could put out some high quality albums after this together.
I think you could have definitely had another couple Hotel California caliber albums out of them, which is sad that's like it's almost a supergroup breaks up, because once you had Joe Walsh in the mix, you could really consider that a supergroup. Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Joe Walsh, those three together, that's a supergroup every day of the week. And Timothy B. Schmidt is nobody to fucking sneeze at either. Fantastic bassist.
Well, and then this gave Henley his opportunity to break out, kind of freak out, do his own rock star thing, and live out his dream doing solo careers, and
which he did, and he was very successful with. And some of Don Henley's solo work is great. I love that. Some of that work is really good. But it's not what the Eagles could have been together. Definitely not. So they broke up, and then 14 years later, in 1994, they had the Hell Freezes Over tour. The reason for the name Hell Freezes Over, because when they broke up, Don Henley is famous as saying that we will get back together when hell freezes over.
Indeed. And it must have.
Because they got back together and made one of the best live albums, and honestly, in my opinion, one of the best singles from a band who hasn't put out a goddamn single in a long time. There is. And again, it's a Glenn Frey, Don Henley track with Henley on vocals. The song Get Over It. Fantastic track.
Ah, yes.
But and it really speaks to the time. 1994. I mean, fuck, listen to that song right now. 24 years or 26 years later, it's still fucking relevant. A lot of these fucks need to get over it.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about everybody uses the term snowflake?
Right.
It's a very ambiguous term. It covers a lot of ground. Anybody who you would deem a snowflake needs to listen to this song.
Right. And honestly, this was cool because it helped out. So it had all the great tracks. The Hell Freezes Over, but it also Don Henley was allowed to sneak in one of his own. Because ultimately, not a lot of the other guys did solo work. Don Henley was the only one who really had famous solo work, title charting hits. This song, New York Minute, reached number 48, which in the 80s is not anything to sneeze at. And New York Minute is a fantastic fucking track, written extremely well. And ultimately, if you ever wanted to see a live album, this would be it. The Hell Freezes Over album is amazing. The mix that night was amazing. The video quality is great for 94. It was fucking great. It's just a fantastic album. And they sound on point, like never missed a beat. It just shows how fantastic musicians they are. Don Henley goes back and forth from drums to fucking guitar. It's just, it's fucking wonderful. It really is. We need to fucking watch that, dude. Next time we get a fucking day, we need to fucking watch that. I think I have it, honestly.
If not, I'm sure it's available.
Yeah, I could get it.
But this is where my love and passion for the Eagles started, because my first experience with the Eagles is when I was 9 years old, when Hell Freezes Over was recorded by a family member of mine. And it was brought over and we got to watch it. I got to stay up late on like a school night and watch it. No, it wasn't a school night. It was a Friday night. I'm sorry. Stay up till like 1 o'clock watching it in the morning.
But it wasn't. Awesome. That was important to your mom. You know, our uncles, my dad. You know, it was important to them. They liked that. That was really kind of framed their life, I guess. A lot the Eagles did. So it was really cool. And I mean, honestly, that was back when it was awesome. That's back when PBS did awesome specials.
Oh yeah, man. There was no internet to get cool ass.
You remember the Moody Blues? Do you remember the Moody Blues PBS special? Did you ever watch that one? That one was so fucking sweet.
I want to say maybe.
Okay,
not.
So for the kids watching, okay, if you don't know what PBS is, that's Public Broadcasting Service. It's the Public Broadcasting Network. It's whatever channel the hell the Public Broadcasting Network is in your fucking state.
Channel 9, Channel 8, somewhere in some places.
They do charity drives because your support is how they stay fucking in business. The government only gives them pennies. It's your support that helps out. So they do charity drives and give away free shit, right? Or not free shit, but you do a donation and they give you some shit, right? And this was happened to be one of them. They do Sesame Street ones and This Old House ones and all kinds, right? Well, they also do concerts. The Eagles' Hell Freezes Over tour was one of those charity drive concerts where you could get like the VHS, the DVD if you did another tier, the CD if you did one tier, all that shit. They also did a Moody Blues one, which was amazing. The Moody Blues Live at Red Rocks they did as well on a PBS special, which was
and it was a very amazing. It was a very elaborate, like put together box set kind of thing.
You felt like, honestly, that they did it, and I don't know, maybe they did, that the Eagles like worked with PBS to get this thing to go. Like, I mean, and I imagine that they had to work with them in some fashion to get the rights to show it, but it was a whole kit. I mean, it was a nice package, you know, it was a whole kit. It was really cool. They don't do that shit anymore, I don't think. Or nobody watches PBS anymore, I don't know.
Right. But you should.
You should. Yep. Public Broadcasting. Yep. Hell Freezes Over though it needs to be 72 minutes of amazingness.
Yeah, it is by far probably one of the best live concerts you can watch. Just the performance is fantastic, and I think this is probably my favorite album recording as well that they put together because it's got all the best stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
All the best stuff.
I mean, yeah, Tequila Sunrise, Hotel California, Wasted Time, Pretty Maids All in a Row. I can't tell you why. New York Minute, Last Resort, Take It Easy, In the City, Life in the Fast Lane, Desperado. What else you need?
If you want the condensed, consolidated version of what some of the best of the Eagles is, this is your album right here.
Well, and then the DVD only adds 3 more. Help Me Through the Night, The Heart of the Matter, which was awesome. I remember that one.
Ooh,
The Heart of the
Heart
Matter from Again and Innocence, and Seven Bridges Road, which was off of Eagles Live. So Seven Bridges Road wasn't actually
an Eagles song, was it?
It was written by Steve Young, but this is 5-part harmony, okay, on Seven Bridges Road. 5-part harmony.
5 beautiful parts of harmony.
It's in no other band could ever do that. None of them have vocal chops to do it. All these are like true musicians who each one of them can sing and play multiple instruments. That's how good they are. And unfortunately, that's why it sucks even more that they did not continue on. Because we would have had the universe where they didn't fight is a pretty cool one. But I guarantee the aliens took over in that one, so we're all dead. So, what are you gonna do? Yeah. What else? This is the one to get. I think I'll probably see if I can't find the playlist for this entire YouTube thing. If it's on the internets to where Hell Freezes Over, you guys can watch it in the description. It's worth it. Worth every penny.
And if you can also find the video of the performance, it is the 1994 recorded live performance PBS.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I'm gonna see if I can't get it on fucking and put it in the description. The YouTube links to it. But I would buy it. I would buy it. Go on Amazon and buy the motherfucker. Yeah, buy it. I'm sure it's on Amazon somewhere. I'm gonna look for it like after we get off here, and I'm probably gonna fucking buy it because I want it. Now that we've talked about it,
sure.
It's great though. It's fucking amazing, and love it.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, they did some work from 2007 to 2012.
They had
long
run out of Eden in 2007, but there isn't really anything on here that's good.
No.
I think honestly it was their past their prime. I think they realized too late that they either needed to get rid of Don Felder sooner, which to me Don Felder wasn't that great of an addition. Get rid of him earlier and we'll have feng shui in the band, or get over it, as Don Henley would like to say, and fucking figure it the hell out so we can be a band, Seems legit. But as to kind of button it up, Long Road Out of Eden was the last album with Glenn Frey before he died in 2016. And Glenn Frey dying in 2016, Glenn Frey getting cancer and going through that was a big reason why the band hasn't really done anything since then. They're kind of still touring now. They're active now and kind of touring without Don Felder. They kicked him out, so it's just Don Henley, Joe Walsh, and Timothy B. Schmidt. But they're going around, and we're doing shows and shit. I think they got some this year even. And thankfully, they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before
he passed.
Before he passed, which was a good
important.
thing. Yeah,
it's important.
It needed to happen, basically.
Yeah, they definitely helped shape the future of the 70s and the 80s and even probably well beyond.
Oh yeah, I mean there's influences, Eagles and everything. Interestingly enough, in the current tour, Deacon Frey, Glenn Frey's son, shares vocals.
Really?
Helps out on vocals, yeah, for Fry's parts. That's good. That's good. They're keeping
That's
it in.
interesting.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad to hear that.
But yeah, that's basically it on the Eagles. All in all, fantastic, amazing band throughout all the different members they've had and the different time periods that they've played through. Um,
Their candle burned bright and fast. Only around 9 years of truly activity. I mean, let's be real. The reunion tour was, and the subsequent album was one-off stuff. The band broke up in the '80s, but and it's sad to see a band with that much talent break up. But that's why I'm glad like Breaking Benjamin is back and Disturbed hasn't broken up yet, or Foo hasn't really broken up yet, or the bands that are really quintessential that need to continue on and keep making music. Um,
and Breaking Benjamin is an exception too. They broke up and basically reformed and rebirthed all new members.
Not all new members. I mean, the
Well,
lead singer
most.
was the same, yeah, but which is also the driving force of that band. So that is an exception typically. But you could say that same thing for the Eagles. I just wish they would have, rather than waited 14 years, came back a little sooner with it. And that's my kind of closing on this one. If anybody is in a band, you guys fucking thinking about breaking up, fuck that shit. Look at them. They just got to fucking awesome, and well, fuck you guys. I'm out. Like that's not good.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Work through your differences, and if you can, if you got one bad seed who's
Get him out. Cut that shit.
get him out.
It's like poison. Don't let anybody who poisons the well stick around. That's not good.
No,
You got to keep positivity in that shit. And
that's
as
right.
always, we're gonna end it on a positive. Always remember to love each other. We love you. Until next
With all of
time.
our hearts.
We're probably gonna do Divinity Wednesday because I got a couple ideas for the question topics and haven't really got to much nailed down, but I have a couple good ones, so they're gonna take a little research in the hopper. So we may be playing Divinity for a couple Wednesdays. Next week is what? I don't know yet. It'll be a rando one though. I have a couple ideas on what I want to do, but just don't know
If
yet.
if you guys have any suggestions on maybe show topics you would like, not that we're running out, we have a plethora to choose from, but if you guys have anything in particular you want to hear about,
Yeah, I
whether
mean
it's
it
a
would help.
band,
Yeah,
music topic, current event,
whatever.
to an extent,
Yeah, really,
drop it in the
whatever.
comment.
Comment, like, do a subscribe, do all that shit. And yeah, if you got anything, throw it in there to help decide. We got a couple. I have a pretty good idea, but I just don't want to spoil it because I don't know what I'm really gonna call it yet. For this one, so I'm not. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it's a good one. I think you'll like it. So yeah, Divinity on Wednesday. Look out for another funny haha on Friday, and little surprise music for next Sunday. Then the Sunday after that, the What the Decade. I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to do the 90s because we just did the 80s. So we're going to kick it off with that and then may come around to something else later. So until then,
Good stuff coming up.
for show. Until then, like, subscribe, do all that bullshit. Always remember to love each other. We love you guys. And until next time,
Take it easy.
deuces. You see what he did there, folks? Do you see what he did there? It was clever.